yellow.
Hello, Emma.
Hello, Leah.
Hello. Welcome to the Lovely Job podcast. I'm Leah Spicer-Pownall. I'm the marketing manager of Miss Bush, and this is...
I'm Emma, and I'm the MD of Miss Bush.
Okay, and this episode is another pre-recorded episode. We're recording this on the 23rd, and it's coming out to you today on the 30th of December, so that we can enjoy our Betwixtmas.
Yes, I like a bit of Twixmas. I have to say, I like to be a massive geek. I like to do a jigsaw puzzle. I'm not a big New Year's Eve party fan, although I believe my sons are hosting a New Year's Eve party in my house, so somehow I will be somewhat involved with New Year's Eve. So I hope everybody's Christmas was fabulous. I hope that Santa Baby managed to slip you some lovely and luxurious gifts, and that you're all not feeling too bloated, which I fully expect to be feeling that by this time next Monday. So
yeah, I think
I'll probably be regretting my life choices.
It's time when you just like, you've eaten all the after eights, you've eaten all the leftovers, and you just like, I really want some kind of salad at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw somebody I've always called this time Betwixtmas, like I've just called it, but I saw someone on TikTok the other day call it the void, like the void between Christmas and New Year, which I think is quite a good word for it. Like, what day is it? Where am I?
I think I actually heard, I don't even know if I can actually say what I heard it called by Georgia, when Georgia was in was at the chapel on Saturday with her maybe that's not so actually, maybe
You got to say it now.
Maybe
it's
Gulch.
The gooch. You mean the gooch? The gooch.
Gooch or the Gulch?
Yeah, I saw somebody else call it the perennium of Christmas.
Yeah.
So the bit between the good bits.
Yeah, absolutely. But I suppose why it was Gulch or Gooch or whatever it is anyway. But it was like, that's what Georgia called it, Gooch Week or Gulch Week, or it was like rude. And I was like, okay, that's fine. But Georgia's was her really, really good friend Fran, who she's known since she was about 2. Was getting
Georgia's
married
Emma's
on my
daughter.
birthday.
For anyone that doesn't know, Emma, Georgia's your daughter, for anyone that doesn't know that.
Yes, absolutely. Link in show notes to her Spotify and incredible single that she has just released, which is her biggest release to date and is flying through the charts on Spotify. Basically, it was included on 45 New Music Fridays globally.
Wow, that's amazing. I've had it on repeat since when did it come out? Monday or something? Friday.
Yeah.
It's called Dancing in Love, and it's a collab with Alan Walker, who's apparently really, really big in like K-pop or something, or in Korea.
I don't know. He's big in Southeast Asia, and he's not called Alan or Walker. He's Scandinavian and something of a recluse, I'm told. But anyway, he seems to be a bit of a DJ genius, so that's good.
Yeah, it's a great track. It's very catchy. If you want to have a little boogie around your kitchen while you're doing some cleaning, pop it on, because I will be.
And it was quite interesting. Georgia wrote it with him and did the original vocals, and quite often Georgia will do things like that with DJs, and they go around looking for a more famous pop star to do the song, and then they had enough faith with her vocals to release it with her vocals, which is so good.
That's good.
I'm very proud of her. Yeah.
Yes, and also in all the promo images, she's wearing custom Nautier as well, which is really cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, she's basically seconding Ben and Adrian as her
fairy godfathers.
Personal dressers. Yeah, fairy godfathers, definitely. So she's got incredible outfits to wear, and they've customized some regular day clothes as well for her. So yeah, it's all very exciting indeed.
Amazing. So for this episode, I thought we'd do a review of the year at the end of 2024. So talk about some of our highlights. And just for me, I've got to say the highlight for me has been starting the podcast. It's changed my working week, and it's just, I've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, it's really interesting because what I find very interesting is that I'm so geeky, really, that and anyone that's had an appointment with me will know this. It's not how you might imagine it would go. There's no like, are we saying yes to the dress? Or there's not, it's not so like, they're fun appointments, but it's not all kind of like unicorns and rainbows and like, you know, giggly girl squad high fivers kind of like things. It's more considered. And so I spend a lot of time thinking about women and their bodies and their relationship with their bodies and fashion and the cultural importance of what we do and the kind of social importance and all those kind of things. So it's, for me, it's a really amazing way to get all this stuff that's swirling around inside my head out, because at some point I kind of wanted to write a book like on how to get married or how to get dressed for a wedding. I've also been screen tested a couple of times for like reality TV shows for like for what is that?
Don't Tell the
Hallmark
Bride
channel
or something.
is. Yeah. Yeah, they've asked us to go on Don't Tell the Bride. I've been talked to by the producers that made the Curvy Bride one. I was talked to by the producers that made Say Yes to the Dress before they did the UK, and nobody's ever given me a job. And my sister, who's a TV producer, they'll be like, no, nobody's going to employ you in telly. No, absolutely not. You and you don't want to do it because you won't have any control over what's being said or how you're edited or anything. So in a way, I feel like this is like giving me that outlet for the things that I think. And it's kind of like, we haven't upset anybody apart from that one person as well, or one group of people. So
or that we
being
know
that
of.
controversial.
Not that we know of.
Okay. Well, we might have upset some more people, but so what are you going to do? So yeah, it's, or we might have bored some people or something. So, but hopefully we have, you know, entertained as well and informed. So yeah, it's really good. But it's the stuff that's swirling in our heads all of the time. So it's really nice to get it out.
It gives me such a like good kickstart for the rest of my week to kind of talk about these things and then come up with ideas. And it's also been really strange for me to be visible for the first time, really, since I've worked for Miss Bush for what, like 12 years or something, and I've always been like invisible in the background, just doing what I do. And then like there's emails that come in, and it's like, oh, to Emma and Leah, and I'm like, oh, that's me.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been quite fun.
Yeah, no, it has been a good, and I think we've done very well at keeping it going. I wondered if we'd run out of things to say.
No, I don't think we.
Apparently, I don't think that.
I don't think it's possible for you ever to run out of things to say. So.
I know. I think that like as we've been as a family on this exploration of our neurotypes, I realised that I am, you know, if I was neurodiverse, then this kind of topic is my special interest. So like, you know, for somebody else, it could be, you know, trains, or it could be video games, or it could be anything else. Do you know what I mean? But I think for me, this kind of that crossover of politics, fashion, and feminism is a really fascinating study.
I think that's a good hyperfixation to have, definitely.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, no, it's been really good to do that, and it's very good to have you like feeling visible as well, because I think I've said it before as well. I think I'm actually quite a terrible boss as far as I should do more reviews. I should do more like weekly kind of catch ups and praise and things like that. But everyone does such a brilliant job that I expect excellence as a kind of like standard. So I don't really feel like I ever have to say anything. But that also means I never say, well done, that was really good. I was like, I expect you to be brilliant. Well done, you were brilliant. So yeah, so I think it's also quite good for people to hear you being brilliant as well. So
thank you.
And yes, it's very good.
Okay, and what do you think your highlights for 2024 was?
Mine are probably, she says, listening to the little kittens running around over my head. My highlights of 2024 really were, well, I've had a complete lifestyle change, haven't I? I've moved to a different town, 45 miles away from the chapel, whereas I used to live 5 minutes away. So I have got much more physically separating between work and home. And I'm now living by the sea, which was definitely like, you know how people talk about having their bingo cards, don't they, for like the year? That was like a life bingo card for me. I want to live by the sea. I don't know what it is about the sea that's so magical. And I'm not even living by cutesy. I'm living by like just sea, and quite industrial sea, and with warships and ferries and boats, and I don't know, it just I find that really kind of magnetic, and I love watching it, and I like going out and looking at it when it's cold, and also looking at it when it's hot. So it's yeah, that's just a really good thing for me. And I've tried to do some things that I've always wanted to do, like art and yoga, and saying that, I feel like I haven't done any art or yoga for like a week plus, because I mean that sort of that Christmas swirl of like your routine goes out the window, doesn't it?
It really, really does. I've not been to Pilates for 2 weeks.
I've only done no, I've just done one PT session. That's all I've done in a week, so that's not enough. But anyway, so what you can do, it's Christmas. So yeah, so I think that's really the big change for me is doing that, and actually like sort of, although I'm still MDing stuff and still marketing stuff, I think that's been quite a change for me. But I would say, yeah, it's been a really lovely kind of thing to do. But I would say in terms of work highlights, it's been really exciting to see Nautier really take off this year. So this is the brand where I'm really trying to sort of like help and guide Ben and Adrian to create their own label. So it's been really, really good to see people actually ordering in significant numbers their dresses this year. So that has been a really good highlight, because I think they were maybe slightly worried that we'd gone to fashion and that maybe people wouldn't get it. But I think it's actually been a really good thing to do. So that's been amazing.
Some of the elements from the dresses that they designed like 2 years ago are now like super, like they're like the trends, like the V-shaped bodices and like the hip panniers as well. Like they're like super in right now as well, which is really nice.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been a good highlight. I mean, I think you played a clip recently on like Insta of me raving about Divine Atelier. So like actually like again bringing a new brand to the chapel that actually hits the ground running and works straight away.
Yeah, they've done so well, haven't they?
Yeah, and they appear to be delivering with, the quality and the service is exactly what I would want and hope for. So again, another fully European made pure silk label. So that's been really good, and they've just sit nicely between the Nevilles and the Jesus Perez, which are two big sort of like almost like pillars of like a function, like functionality of like having two brands that sell really well. But then you need to kind of like, you need to put some spice in there as well. You need to kind of mix it up. But to be able to put spice in and mix it up, and hold on to your ethics, hold on to your profit margins, hold on to your marketing, that's the business juggle of that, really. So it's been really good to do that. So yeah,
amazing.
So
I think another highlight as well was our the spring content day that we did, so I had a look at our top content for the whole year, and all of it was the videos that we made on that content day. So the ones of you talking, giving advice, sharing your favourite designs. So the top one was, of course, the capes, coats and sleeves. It was adding different capes and coats and sleeves to strapless dress, a simple strapless dress. And it just went, it wasn't strapless actually, was it? It was just a simple v-neck.
Sleeveless.
Yeah. And it went viral everywhere. So YouTube, TikTok and Instagram, it was the top thing from the whole year. So I'd like to direct you all there to watch that. And then also there was 2 women, 1 dress, which was you and Chloe wearing the same dress, which has also done so well.
Yeah, and like 5 sizes apart, yes. So basically, it was, and also just, I'm sure it's purely coincidental, but I also know that dress is Jesus Perez global bestseller.
Oh, really? Ooh.
So one wonders that I might have done. Yes. Maybe I might have had a little hand in that. I don't know. It's a good dress. I mean, I didn't make it or design it, but yeah, maybe that promotion can't have hurt.
I think that video. Well, the video had 100,000. I think it was more than that on YouTube. I think it had like, I don't know if this is correct, but I'm going to say it, 500,000 impressions. So that's like it appeared for that many people. But yeah, I need to double check that because I remember it being massive.
Yeah, no, it's very good. So yeah, that was good. And we are like going to put some content days in for this year, aren't we? I think we've got one in January scheduled. So I think we need to do sort of quarterly content days. So again, it will be great to get anybody's feedback of what anyone would like to see us do, or indeed anyone that wants to work with us or provide us with a venue or anything in a kind of like collaborative fashion. So
yes, amazing.
good.
And I think another highlight was the Cowdrey shoot and also working with Georgie. So we started partnering with Georgie this year, and she's helping us with our brand partnerships. And so it's the first time we did a shoot along with her help. And so she brought in lots of really amazing collaborators for us, which was really great.
And I think it's to formalise that, because I think she's probably going to get like a bit like, she'll be like, Emma, she's like, oh, this influencer got engaged. I'm like, I don't like influencers. So this is a really bad and limiting a point of view that I have. And I'm like, okay, you deal with them then. Do you know what I mean? Which is like, I know that this is a thing. It's contemporary marketing, and love them or loathe them, it's a valuable asset. I just have found in the past when we have worked with influencers, they haven't done anything that they were asked to do.
No, none of the influencers we've worked with have followed through. We haven't got anything from them. None of them shared what they said they would share, and it's just like, is this worth it?
And also, when one sort of like relatively high profile person got a dress from us and it went into Hello, Hello wrote it as though Suzanne Neville had designed the dress and we were just some complete oiks in the background that did nothing. And I was like, it's actually my design, but okay. So yeah, so basically what I think Georgie's job will be to do for me is to work with, I love working with trade partners. They are good, but guys, even our trade partners don't do what they're supposed to. It's like I haven't really seen a lot of the Cowdrey shoot having been shared by any of the people that we brought in.
This is something really that's always really frustrating for me. Not just for shoots, but also events. Like every event, every shoot, I'll send out, here's the images, here's all the tags, here's what you can do with them. And then it will just be like tumbleweed. No one ever even replies to my emails most of the time. Like it would just be like, well, okay, we've shared it, but no one else has.
It is a bit sort of like, so yeah, I mean, I don't know what the answer is to that. I mean, I've seen a little bit of it shared on Barbara Tipple's stuff. I don't think I've seen it shared.
Freya Rose have shared, and they weren't even there on the day. Like they sent us the stuff and we did it, and they've shared more than anyone else that was actually there.
So yeah, it's a bit sort of like, it's always quite contentious, that, isn't it? It's like, so to work, so I like collaborating with the trade because you can be very frank and businesslike with the trade. So influencers, I don't know. I mean, we've dressed some famous people. They haven't, but some people have just come in. I didn't even know they were famous, or I didn't know they had 100,000 followers on Instagram. I like that. Our bride was our anniversary that closed. My boyfriend hates was like a fashion influencer. She didn't say anything about it when she came and got her dress, and then I'm like, oh, look at that fashion influencer. So it is quite tricky to do that. And also I've had actual famous influencers in the chapel. They're like if they've come with friends and things like that, sometimes they're nice, but they can't actually they can't share anything if they're under contract with somebody else. And then another one just took armfuls of freebies and never even said thank you or posted anything about us. I'm like, really? It's just rude. So like there would have to be a lot for me to
go
sort
for
of
it.
like go for it. Yeah, I'm like,
but for the trade partnerships, it's been really brilliant, and she's brought Gusborne to us this year, which has been a real highlight as well. Definitely.
Yeah, really, really amazing. I love working with them. The sparkling wine, of which there might be quite a lot in my fridge currently for Christmas. I mean, it's really taken the place in my house. There is absolutely no need to buy champagne, because their Blanc de Blanc is just as good as, if not better than, every champagne that I've ever had. And so if I'm going to drink now just a glass of sparkling something, there is literally no more Prosecco going on. It is English sparkling. So we've still got Grey Friars, but really the Gusborne is really like the is like the kind of Suzanne Neville Divine Atelier 80s Perros of the English sparkling wine.
Okay.
So
I
that
really
it's
must
good.
try some next time I come and visit. I've not tried it yet. I've just heard
Have you
good
not?
things. No, I haven't. No.
Yeah.
Got to fix that.
Oh well. That's because you're always working when you come. So
I
it's
know.
like, yeah,
I know. And like
working
I'm
or driving.
driving, I know. So I was quite boring at the towards the end of the Christmas party, because I was like, I've got a 3-hour drive home tomorrow, so I'm going to stop drinking now.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, we could all probably have done with a bit of that. I actually saw Kat, one of our production people, and I was like, you were really good. You went on to tea with Adrian back in my house. But then, yeah, the rest of us will never learn.
Okay, so I think that's all of our highlights from the year. Well, not probably all of them that we can cover, because I think we could talk about them for ages. But we've got to move on, because this is our final episode of the year, and for lots and lots of brides, 2025 brides, from in 2 days, they'll be able to say they're getting married this year. So it's going to start feeling really real for them.
And it does actually, that does kind of suddenly put a bit of a rocket under people. They're like, oh my God, this year. But it's like, it was like, it's me when we're recording this, as I said in the previous thing, it's like, how come it's this close to the end of the year? Where did that go? Where did that, where does time speed up, become very, very kind of like elastic, doesn't it? But yeah, no, so we've got a really nicely a good cohort of brides for 2025 as well. They've all picked amazing things, so really looking forward to seeing all of the kind of creative partnerships that we've like worked on with them coming to fruition. Yeah,
it's very exciting. I put out some question boxes on Instagram for any 2025 brides that were starting to feel a bit panicky that it was, coming soon. And one bride has said, just over 4 months to go now. What accessories should I pair with my Hazy Sparrow 2565? Plus statement earring suggestions for dresses with statement sleeves. So we have had quite a lot of questions about accessories. So do you want to have a little think about that?
Well, I think you put some Freya Rose earrings, didn't you, with the 2565 on when we did the Jesus Paro day.
I did.
Event.
So the 2565 has got those kind of big puffy sleeves that are kind of like in sections.
Yes, and in silk organza, so they're quite a statement. So I think the thing I would say with that is you've really got to go. You've either got to meet that statement, or you've got to do nothing. And I know that sounds a bit strange. So I would say, well, that you would either just do almost like tiny little studs, or you could do something like, I think I like the Warrior S Mother of Pearl earrings from Freya would go really well, because they echo that kind of the little like descending puffs of silk organza. So I think that would be a really, really good kind of earring to do if you wanted to go statement with it. Or as I say, I think particularly if your hair's down and you want to see some kind of earring or accessory, I think that would be good. There's 2 different versions of that, and I think it's the Mother of Pearl ones that I would think would be really, really good to go with that. Or even maybe their Warrior's armor drops with gold on them, but but you've got to consider when you're doing earrings, and whether your hair's going to be up, what the rest of the looks are going to be like, and just to kind of go. And then if you do a bold statement earring, I probably would leave the neck alone, basically, because you've already got statement sleeves there. So I think there is a possibility of overdoing that.
Definitely.
My presents feel like they're going wobbling forward on my head.
My bow is coming forward as well. For anyone that, again, if you can't see us, we're wearing headbands again. Emma's just got a stack of presents on top of her head.
I know, which is very cool, but it is actually, I feel as I'm nodding forward, like at one moment the presents are going to probably nod forward onto my laptop and then completely like knock out the podcast or something. So if that happens,
please don't.
I apologise.
Okay, and yeah, another person, again, tips for choosing accessories with your dress, headpiece, jewellery, accessories, etc. Like these are quite I feel like these are quite difficult to answer on the podcast because that's quite a visual thing, isn't it?
I think we will definitely include these in our content days again, because I think that those are very useful, and perhaps in the show notes you could put some links to the things we've done previously on accessories would be really good. But I mean, I think that I would say in general, we offer our clients what we call a styling appointment. So when somebody's dress is in, we invite people for an appointment where it's not the technical fitting, but it's just to put your dress on and think about things that you might want to go with this. And there's quite a few questions that need to be involved in this, which is like, I think hair is really important. So you've got to kind of quite early doors nail what kind of hair style you're going to have, whether you're going to do up, down, whatever, whether or not there's any family pieces that you need to include in your accessories. So people are very, very attached to family veils. People are also sometimes lucky enough to have family jewels, like they will have a tiara or something that is traditional to wear. So I did an appointment for someone the other day who's got family tiara, and I was like, well, I'm just going to put your hair up in quite a formal way, and I'm going to stick not a very valuable tiara on, but one that we've got in the chapel. And I was like, we have to now do the appointment like this, because you've got to dress to meet that piece. So again, I would say, what is it that is there any non-negotiables, are the things that you're going to have to use? Then I also, like with some dresses, I really like people not to kind of move too far away from their own style. So if people have like stacks of earrings and things like that, or they layer necklaces, then I think it's good to continue to do that, because I think actually the naffest kind of accessories are kind of that slightly uptight matchy sets, and I never think they look that lovely with wedding dresses. So if somebody offers you a drop pearl earring and a matching drop pearl necklace, politely decline, because I think unless they're exceptional, then that's generally not the thing to do. I also have a problem quite a lot with strings of pearls, unless we really think about it and we go properly Chanel with it and we layer them and load them on, because again, they tend to cut across the neck or the neckline of a dress in a way that's very unhelpful to the silhouette that we've already, or the frame that we've already created. So we're still selling dresses with splits as well. So I would say that again, with those ones, if you've got a split in your skirt, then I think, I've said it many times before, but you start accessorizing from the shoes, because if you pick a color pop, or if you pick a pearl decorated shoe, or a sparkle, or or it's metallic leather, whatever you pick, that really sets a tone for the rest of the outfit. So in those circumstances, I would start shoe first. You've also got to be really careful with shoes that decorative diamante elements that stand proud of the toe can be really annoying with some dresses, and they can catch on hems, and they can pull hems down, and they can catch on tulle and things like that. So there's a lot of practical sides to the shoes, and it also can be quite a sort of can be quite a sort of set tone for the rest of the look. So I would say you've got to look at what you've already got, look at what you know that is non-negotiable, and then go from there. I found recently that the hair accessories seem to have dwindled somewhat. I mean, like a while ago, it was very in to have flower crowns or like individual wild flowers in your hair. That doesn't seem to be discussed at all. Weirdly, I've come across more tiaras than I have hairpins, but not that many. So I think there's quite a lot of a trend for like a centre parting down hair with a bit of a wave through it, which is really nice. It's not going to date, but it's also not easy to put a lot of accessories with that. It's not even that easy to put a veil with it. So, but yes.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw a hair vine. Like they were like really in for a while. Now it's just
no. I know it's quite. I mean, I think we're probably the most that we're doing at the moment is like hair pins. They're like little clusters of pins, decorative pins. We're selling lots of earrings. I think earrings are like having their time more than like things that go in the hair. So, yeah. So, yes, that is what I would say. But I would say if you're one of our brides, then, actually book your styling appointment. We will also run styling appointments for not our brides as well. But you kind of have to be available on a weekday to do that, because we don't do styling appointments on a Saturday or a Sunday. So just bear that in mind. But if you can, take an hour or so, then we're happy to run styling appointments in the same way that we do any of the rest of our appointments. So they're fee paying and refundable against purchase.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so another question that we had was, how do I find trusted wedding suppliers when there is so much choice? And I can just very quickly say for this, I think a really good one is to go to our blog, the Miss Bush blog, and look at weddings that we've featured on there that are similar to what you're aiming for, and just look at their suppliers, because they're always raving about how amazing they are. So that's a really good place to start. And what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there is so much choice. I would say if you I would say the thing that even that we can't control, but word of mouth is a really good marketing strategy for us. So people will be told about us by friends. So I would ask among your friends, basically. I know that sounds pretty self-evident, but even if you looked at some stuff that you didn't like at a friend's wedding, it's probably good to know who they had so you don't get them. I think that it's quite hard also. So if you were having, say, a wedding at home and you've got a marquee supplier, then your marquee supplier and your caterer usually work together as almost like wedding planners. I think most catering will have an element of wedding planning about it, and they will be able to give you, say, the right recommendations for the people that are professional and that can be used in your home environment. So they will have worked with florists, they will have worked with linen rental companies, people that you rent the kind of plates from, those kind of things. So you've got a very they will have their teams around them. If you've got a wedding planner, they will also usually have a really brilliant selection of recommended suppliers that they work with, and they can also tailor those recommendations to a particular taste profile of their client. So your planners are invaluable as far as that goes. I would also you could, I think, as Leah says, go to our Real Brides and see who they've been prepared to tag, share, and just generally rave about, because that's a really brilliant way through. But it is one thing I would be slightly cautious about is sometimes venues will have a recommended supplier list, and I think you need to be you need to directly ask your venue if those people have paid to be on that list, because we do quite a lot of brides that get married at Gate Street Barn in Bramley, so it's quite Cranley, that sort of area. And they wanted me to pay quite a lot of money to be on either in a brochure or something, or as a recommended supplier on their website. I was like, no, just no. And if you want me to pay, if you want to pay me to endorse you, that might be another thing. But it's a bit so you might sometimes, if you look at those, there might be some situations where people will have you have to pick one of three caterers because that's who they've chosen to partner with for their venue, and that's very sensible, because you just sometimes catering is a real, you can't get that wrong. So you've got to work with some really professional people. And as I say, they would usually give you a choice of caterers to reflect the taste of a couple. But I would ask the question did someone pay to get recommended? Because you might not be getting the most authentic recommendations from those venues. And you might find that you sort of get a bit of an identikit service. So if a florist is paid to be recommended, and you then look at their work, or you look at the work in that venue, sometimes I do find it all looks a bit the same, which is great if that's your thing. But it's also quite hard to have a vision of how it could be done differently if you don't know. So that would be kind of thing. And also I would say sometimes with wedding planners, I'd ask them very directly if they get a commission from the people they recommend, or whether you're paying your wedding planner and then they will be making independent and kind of really authentic recommendations, and they're not actually earning money from that recommendation. So those are just a few things. Usually most people, I mean, I could name florists that I love and hair and makeup teams I love. So always ask us in store if there's a particular person. Photographers, again, one thing I would always say about photography as well is if you're getting married in, let's say, anywhere from between October and March, please ask to see their flash work, because most photographers, wedding photographers, work really well in kind of daylight and natural light. But you need to get someone really expert if you're going to be getting married and it's dark and they've got to be inside and using a lot of flash photography. So those are the kind of things that it's just kind of like asking the right questions and being a little bit researchy, like, how are you getting paid for this? Did you pay to be on this recommended list? And that's just like a bit prudent, I think.
And if you are a Miss Bush Bride, then you will have been invited to our Miss Bush Bride's secret Facebook group. So you can always ask in there. So is anyone getting married at this venue? Do you have recommendations for certain suppliers? And you can all help each other. So that is also a nice option.
Yes. Also, I would say also, like, when we do events at the chapel, and I think this will kind of dovetail quite nicely into something you're going to talk about in a minute. Yep. I think we will basically ask our favourites people to come and work with us, because if we ask our favourites, then our events become very elevated.
Yeah. We only work with suppliers that we know, that we've worked with, that we have experience of working with. So, we're always recommending people that we actually have worked with ourselves. So it's not just, just randomers that have just paid to be there or anything like that. Like, it's usually from a long relationship. But yeah, I'm going to mention something now that Georgie is going to be working on with us. She said in the questions, should we host a big engagement party in the chapel in February? And I think the answer to that is
I think yes. We should do something around, like, maybe like a Galentine's or something, somewhere close to like Valentine's or something, but all girls basically. Let's do something. Yes.
Yeah, so I had this idea like years and years ago now. I was like, we should do an engagement party in January for everyone that got engaged over Christmas. And I mentioned it to you and Georgie was like, oh my God, this is a great idea. Let's do it. And we just didn't really have time to pull it together for this year because it was, it's been so busy. So yeah, we're thinking February. We'll get all of our favourites into the chapel. You could bring your newly engaged friends along and just meet everybody. And yeah, it's a great chance to be introduced to Miss Bush.
Yes, it really, really good. And also, like, I know, just touching on time frames. January would be like. I would say, like, if you're going to get married in 2025, then I would say Q1, so Jan, Feb, March. You need to get those dresses booked. And then very rarely do I ever put deadlines or put any kind of sense of urgency on people. But by January, if you're getting married, we can still get dresses for, like, January. You could still get dresses from us for March, April, May. But you'd start to be putting rush fees on those. So like January, you could probably get a dress for June without having a rush fee. But you need to kind of think, if you're getting married this year, you Q1 is a really important quarter for you guys as well to get in and to get ordering. And we have also, like, we're pretty much booked out for the whole of January. So we have also had to put in some Sunday availability. So I would say, if you want to come and see us and you're getting married in 2025, I'd get those appointment requests in pretty quickly, because our very sort of private one-to-one appointments means that we can't see 5-10 brides at the same time. It's very bespoke all the way through. So get those requests in. that was sales.
I know.
Did you see that? I did some sales and marketing there, Leah.
Well done. Yeah, so
it's exciting, huh?
January is also like the biggest month for appointment requests as well. So you might regret that. You might regret saying that, because the inbox is probably going to be so full.
I know. And also, we're going to have a sort of out of office on, but we will be monitoring it, and I will basically be divvying up the days. So somebody has to answer sales appointment requests as we go through. Although we are going to be closed until the 2nd, we will get back to any requests for appointments. Probably not on New Year's Day morning. I suspect. I suspect they'll be quite hard out of office on that day. So, yeah.
Okay, amazing. And we're at 40 minutes. And so I'm just going to read out one more question that we had, but we're not going to answer it. We'll answer it in January. So we've had a question from a fellow business owner, and they have said, I can't get appointments. Something's broken and I don't know what. So we're going to cover this in an episode in January, some tips for boutique owners that are struggling.
A bit of business to business advice, because I get asked quite often about that kind of thing, and we don't really have a kind of a target listener for this, and I also don't think that it's. I mean, my clients are such incredibly bright women with such fantastic careers. I feel that they can handle the truth. I think they can handle a bit of business chat as well. I mean, we're all female-fronted businesses, and we work in the luxury goods sector. And I do know lots and lots of my brides-to-be will also work in related industries and in marketing and PR, as well as being involved in finance and law, generally. So these are people that can listen to this and understand it. But, I would say that it is we're in a contracting market, and that is something that has to be acknowledged. Every year there are fewer and fewer weddings, and so it is one of those things where you've got to look at how you manage a market where you can't create more brides. You can only create more market share for yourself. So there are some really interesting business discussions to be had to that as well. So really important.
Yes, and I've got lots of marketing tips for that as well that should hopefully be really helpful. So we'll come up with a plan for that for January, and and I think that's us done, our final episode of 2024.
I know, how many? So what have we done now? 16 and a guest?
This is 16 plus a guest, yes.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
So I think the aims for next year is that we'll try and do maybe a guest a month. One guest per month would be really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've got our first guest lined up anyway, so yeah.
For January. Really cool. Yeah, amazing. Yeah. Okay, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year, and let's kind of get our bridal bingo squares lined up of things that we need to do and tick off for the year ahead. So we will be looking at our goals. Bingo list next week. Next week.
Definitely. Okay, amazing. See you in 2025.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You'd like to know, wouldn't you? You'd like to know, wouldn't you?